So, our final guest this evening will be telling us about the Dallas Police Department and its current relationship with the LGBT community. She has 30 years of police experience and has worked as patrol commander, homicide unit, robbery unit, and special investigations commander. She's worked in the communication department watch as a commander. She's been a narcotics unit commander, supervising undercover operations. Currently, she is the commander of Dallas Animal Services. Relating to us, her duties include management of the following events: the Allen Ross Freedom Parade, Halloween on Cedar Springs, there's a lot. Cedar Springs Art Festival, Easter in the Park and the Pooch Parade, the Razzle Dazzle Block Party, the Women's Music Festival, and the St. Patrick's Day Block Party. Please welcome from the Dallas Police Department, Major Barbara Hobbs.
I'm going to come out here also because I don't like to stand behind wooden things. So I would very much appreciate the opportunity to come here and to tell you how far along the Dallas Police Department has progressed in not only LGBTQ issues, but hopefully humanity issues and diversity issues throughout our department. We could turn those lights down just a bit. No. So we obviously had a long way to come. And so a lot of that starts with training and the proper amount of training and the proper emphasis put on training as being important and not just something that you sit through, sleep through, read the paper through, right? The other part of that is, and maybe made the most significant start, was the LGBTQ liaison for the department. And picking the right person for that, or the right person coming forward and saying, I'm going to do this for you, which is basically what happened for us with Sergeant Lynn Albright. I know many of you know her. She's a great lady. She's a personal friend of mine. And she did that for many years, and it was not an easy road when she started out. But she never took no for an answer, and she moved forward regardless of the obstacles in front of her. And after a while, they learned to get out of her way because she was going there anyway. And the rest of us were watching and laughing and went along because we wanted to see the show that she was going to create for us as we move forward. So when Lynn left the department and went to Austin, the department continued on with its liaison to the LGBT community, and currently it's Laura Martin. I got in. There you go. She does a great job. And so my introduction to the community was I worked for Lynn on extra jobs in the community, the parades and the festivals and all those as an officer. And then when she was getting ready to leave and I was gaining rank within the department, she asked me to take over some of those events to ensure that they were handled properly and that again, we would not take no for an answer, to be treated fairly and equally within the department and other departments within the city. And so I said yes, because I might not be quite as hard-headed as her, but I've been told I'm kind of hard-headed. So in 2007, right before the parade began, September 2007, there was an permitting issue with the event, and at the last minute they were threatening to cancel it. So Chief Vincent Goldbeck of the Central Patrol Division, then he's retired since, asked me to, within 3 days prior to take over the management of the officers for that event. And so that was my first event that I actually led within the community, and pretty soon I got phone call after phone call and have been very privileged to serve the community and to make sure that those events happen safely and that we take all precautions necessary, and we have a great time and a safe and fun events for the past many years. But back to the department, we started diversity training within the academy. It was mandated first by the state, and then the department felt that we were not, that we could do better. We could do better than what the state minimum mandates were. And some of the leadership of our department, past Mac Vines, we had several different chiefs, Terrell Bolton. When Benny Click came and was our chief, we began to really look at community issues and start moving towards community policing. It was a program then, moving across the country. And believe it or not, for large departments, Dallas is very progressive. We became more progressive as years after that, but Benny Click started us down the pathway of being more open, having a more diverse department, and being serious about our training, and being serious about being open to all communities, and that diversity within our city was a strong point. Not just the words that it was a strong point, but it was a strong point, and a strength of Dallas, and made Dallas different from other communities. So when Chief Click left in the early 2000s, Chief David Kunkel came. A very brilliant man. He's extremely smart, but he also thinks way down the road. And so he was like, well, we have this program and we've started community policing, but we haven't really looked at ourselves and fully embraced the concept. Because it really goes back, community policing really goes back to the basics of knowing the people that live where you work, right? And technology sometimes gets in the way of that. So really, we had to look and say, do we really believe in this? Is it working? And it was working because crime was going down, because we were establishing a relationship with the community and building trust. But were we just doing it with the communities that were easy, or were we doing it with all of the communities? Well, Lynn had already started with the LGBTQ community, and so we looked and said, yes, we believe this is the way to police in our city. And so we fully embraced it and reached out to the communities where we had not historically done a good job. Underserved communities, communities that we treated very poorly as a policing organization, not just in Dallas, but across the country. And so the self-reflection of who do we want to be as a department? Do we want to be professional? Do we want to move forward? Do we want to be inclusive of everyone and embrace diversity? And the answer to that was, through our leadership, was yes, we do. So we began recruiting from the LGBT community, from minority communities, Hispanic communities, African American communities, Asian communities, all the communities that we were not reflective of as a police department. And so we actually, we have a lot of female officers on our department, about 17%, which you think that doesn't sound like a lot. There's only 3 departments in the one department in the country that has more than we do, and that's 18%. And another one that has 17%, and everyone's lower than that. So it's a man's world, so to speak, but we are invading them. So the police department moves forward, and we continue being more progressive and really taking to heart what we believe. So the work to build trust in communities where we have not worked before, where we didn't have it before, and frankly, we didn't treat well, was a great challenge. But luckily, we've had not just liaison officers to do that, but as our department brought on other officers and the stressing of treating people with respect and starting from that basis and moving forward. Treating people that you meet on calls or citizens as you would want your family members treated. And that's the basis from which we start building the young professional officers in our department. And of course, society is changing at the same time, right? And police departments change a little slower. We're a little conservative. So for us to move forward as quickly as I think we have, but the country has been moving faster than that, which is a good thing. And our young officers coming in now, when we talk to them and tell them stories, they look at us like we have 3 heads, right? Because they have no basis of judgment from the life that we've lived and the things that we've done. So I see progress every year. And you have officers now that are openly gay. They talk about their partners, they talk about their wives. Even some of the older officers that have been here even longer than I, they ask them, how's your wife, how's your husband today? So the whole culture is changing, and it takes time, but it is changing. And I truly believe that community policing not only helps the community, but I think it helps us also as police officers, because it's easy to insulate yourself, yes? And so that you don't let outside people in. And that is one of the things that does occur in law enforcement, because we're a very closed group. And when we open up and share, it's the same thing as these stories and this history that we talk about now. It allows other people to open up and share. And then we find that we all truly are the same. And that respect, caring for others, that if that's the basis of where you start everything, then we can only get better. And so as we move forward as a police department, that's the direction we go. We do intensive training for sensitivity. And people ask sometimes, how many complaints does the department get? Are they more internal or external? And I can tell you that through the history of our department, the majority of complaints against officers come through internal complaints. Other officers saying, no, that was wrong, you shouldn't do that, and then they file a complaint with their supervisors. Whether it's a formal or an informal complaint, the majority of them come internally, which I'm actually very proud of, because historically in policing, there has been the thin blue line or the cover-up or those type of things. So if you set your organization on a path that's unacceptable, then it continues and it even gets better. And so I think though we do have areas to grow, like anyone else in all large organizations, that we are on the right path. We have good leadership. Looking forward to seeing who our new chief of police is going to be. The last 3 chiefs we've had have been very progressive. Chief Brown also, Chief David Brown. And I think that their leadership has moved us significantly forward. And I'm looking forward to the next police chief that we get to continue that progress. And I believe that our young officers are going to be the leaders that we want them to be as they mature and they learn that the Dallas Police Department is much better than it has been in the history that it's been. And we can make our history better by doing the right thing and being part of the community.